Hello, is this on? This on? This better be on. At least this comes free as charged. Sorry about this, folks. Just trying to get a couple things situated. And that involves the title. But right now, we live. We're loving it. What is going on, people? Just thought I'd come on for a moment. I had some issues uploading with some software updates. But yeah, I wanted to discuss a couple things. Also, try out the new software here in Restream. Very convenient service. Shout out to YTC. He got me hooked up on this on when I think he was doing a stream before. It was either wrestling or whatnot, or just a random weekend hangout that he regularly does. But yeah, I think a lot of people are conflicted around how their off season is going in the NBA. I'm watching a terrible Subway series between the New York Yankees versus the Mets. We're probably gonna place. We're still gonna place a decent fourth in the American League right now, and we're only a game in front of the. We're not even close. We're gonna be tied over with the Tampa Bay Rays. Somehow, Boston Red Sox are still competing while losing Rafael Devers. So I'm very conflicted. But say hello, everybody. Nice to meet you guys. For any new viewer, this is DST. Talk about the truth, nothing but the truth, and make it funnier because the truth hurts. We got some off-season news. We know that the summer league has just started. So if you guys have some upside or you want to see peak, just a potential in your rookie players, summer leagues there, so they can at least get some NBA training going before they get some opportunity in the big leagues around October. Roma Dunze will become the Bears wide receiver one next season. Not really that far off when it comes to how is it going right now. We got Warriors playing off against the Lakers in summer league to start tip off. I think second apron's supposed to be activated right now for the NBA offseason. Would you say this has been more of an eventful NBA offseason? I'd say NBA season in general. Because currently, we got some NBA franchises actually making some ambitious moves, and some NBA teams faltering out financially because of some past mistakes. And let me tell you, it's not fun whenever you're one of the bigger market teams because the first apron was 195 million and the second apron is going to activate around 270 million. It's 207 million. Some cap sets are around 115 million, and yet some of you guys are still trying to give Mozgov money to a guy that's just spamming 19 a game. Sometimes over the luxury tax, this is going to make a lot of front office officials or owners jump the gun. Or you see how many NBA franchises, the Bus families, quarter century impact into the league, over several NBA titles, sold for $10 billion. Boston Celtics are selling. Most of these owners are not generally on this morally like parity based system of the NBA. Especially when you now have to make timely positions in front office to actually make a constructive roster. and you would more waver to more of the bigger stars taking more of a, you know, taking more of a pay cut. Like LeBron James, primarily we see him buy in, opt into his contract for a more team friendly deal so they can get more rotationary pieces, like when they got Contavious Caldwell Pope. And then he wins an NBA title with the Nuggets. And now they got to falter out, and somehow the Lakers are so excited to get somebody like DeAndre Ayton for $12 million when he hasn't played any meaningful basketball since he was on the Phoenix Suns. He hasn't tried since that max contract deal came in after the Pacers were trying to sweep him off. I think it was either a free agent signing, but they swept him over a trade clause. And nobody wants to be pulling. And I'm telling you right now, no idiot wants to be pulling for a freaking Bradley Beal deal where off his tenure and you got to pay over that max deal where he's making Devin Booker money a year after, and you have to cluster to buy him out his contract, and you got to figure out rebuilding because Devin Booker's probably not going to stay. Knowing you have 3 starting level 2 guards trying to play like it's my team. So that's crazy amongst itself. So a lot of teams are trying to sweep down the window. I already know that the Knicks finally got a new head coach. Former Sacramento Kings head coach. And after making that franchise relevant, pushing into a conference semifinal, they pushed the Golden State Warriors to 7, or I think it was a first round exit. I'm sure. Me personally, I wanted Mike Malone. I think he can go 10 deep on the roster. We really needed court depth with Jordan Clarkson. We got Gerjon Yabusele. We got good secondary rotation pieces that are very versatile on different sides of the ball. And I would say at least Thibodeau has tried to exceed the capabilities of a full core, but he can only go like 7, 8 deep. The rest are young rotation or inconsistent pieces that he cannot trust. Understandable, but unacceptable when you're competing in this level, especially now that we seem to be in the relevant talks with now the Boston Celtics trading through their entire roster. It gets very insane how many departures the Boston Celtics had over the past month after Jason Tatum's Achilles gave up on him. They got Anthony Simons. After getting Hugo Gonzalez, George Niang, Amari Williams, J.D. Davidson. Like, are you kidding me? Like a completely different core. And that means the departures of Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday to the Trailblazers for Anthony Simons. Don't get me wrong, Anthony Simons is an outstanding guard, but he can only play primarily one side of the ball, more of an ISO merchant. We don't know what he can do in a competitive environment because Chauncey Billups hasn't shown himself to really be an impressive coach yet. So it's very questionable. Salary cap represents 10% of growth from the last year, which gives teams a bit more financial room to make moves, and also report the salary cap increase to 7% around 2026. And that's going to give a marginal more amount of money, and that's going to exceed super cap laws. Like, this is like triple the amount like franchises were making 10 years ago. And this can push over more for smaller markets. I have a draft capital, like the Thunder, congested. And people were expecting Kevin Durant to push over for them. I don't think the Thunder were in that radar. So wasn't Paul George when we had him over for the Knicks. Like, more people are giving more optimism over for the Orlando Magic now after the Desmond Bane deal. Don't he goes for 7, like what? Didn't he go for like 4 first round picks and Kevin Durant only went for 1? Because he's 37, dude. We know how great Kevin Durant is. He can still be a starting caliber wing currently in 2025, but it's like, you honestly think he's going to win, or you think this is just a last hurrah moment for his NBA career? Because this just gets sad whenever we talk about this. Not no disrespect to Kevin Durant, but I think people get the memo. Duh. And this probably hits other teams. Like the Bus family had to like jump ship over in the last moment just to witness like they are probably not going to be recouping any over their assets when they're trying to get Luka Doncic to be key contributor on the franchise after getting Cooper Flag to go to the Mavericks, and somehow, some way, the GM of the Mavericks still feel like he got the up and up because Cooper Flag seems to fit on a caliber team that can finish second round now. And the Lakers are still going to be over reliant on LeBron James, even though he opted out of his deal for $50 million when he's 40 effing years old, bro. Does anybody take that as like, oh, W? In the state of the Lakers organization, you guys think there's going to be growth for them to be contenders with Luka Doncic, with part-time NBA player DeAndre Ayton, Jake Lavera, that's shown to be a spot-up stretch big, that's more of a perimeter shooter, getting Jackson Hayes to sign a two-year minimum, knowing his upside is just a lob threat. I mean, Dalton Connect on a team-friendly deal where has shown to have a good rookie year, and you still got Luka Doncic that can still average 30 when healthy. I don't know what they can push over for Jared Vanderbilt and how much you're going to keep Maxi Kleba, but this is just very gutsy moves for the Los Angeles Lakers. At least we're done paying off Dion Waiters, I think. Like, this gets depressing. How y'all think y'all team has been doing? You guys can comment down below which team you guys have. I'll see if we'll get to research all of them. Because I know why LeBron would go over to $52 million. You guys are going to be around the second or third apron. And I don't know what rotation piece you guys are not missing. I'm going to be checking Twitter at the moment. Please, it's not porn. And I'm not looking back at the Subway Series because I know the Yankees still allow double-digit runs against the Mets. And I don't want to see Juan Soto score. Please. I might check out around the Ironheart show a bit later, by the way. It's Utter Cheeks. I have a first impressions video on the channel if you guys want to check it out. Jonathan Kaminga is seeking a promising youth growth for a first round pick for a sign-in trade. Yeah, that's still been on the wraps for Devon Carter, Dario Saric, and a second round pick. You guys agree with that? I don't. Dario Saric hasn't been good since 2019. Devon Carter is shown to be a decent third option guard. The Warriors already have depth in the guard position. I was so conflicted when they traded for Dennis Schroeder to push over for Darius Garland. And Jonathan Kaminga was known because they wanted to save cap so they can get Al Horford, so they can get a legit center like Al Horford. That was the key contributor because they were going to pay Al Horford. Celtics are that big into the hard cap, bro. So many assets they got rid of. And we're still teased over for a buyout because somehow there's interest for Bradley Beal to go to Miami and Damian Lillard to probably pull from Miami after the buyout over his deal, where it's like 52 for the next 3 seasons. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's great they got Miles Turner, but now you're going to hard cap yourself for the next 3 seasons playing hardball for bench players. Well, Doc Rivers is still your head coach. And that is the best running joke in the NBA. I'm not going to lie to you. How Doc Rivers is still considered a caliber top 10 coach in most people's eyes, all because of 108 title. Given Hall of Fame talent and you can't win, does that consider Kawhi Leonard to be a shit player? Chris Paul to be a shit player? No, go ahead. Go ahead. because that means you're running your players under the bus. First of all, inexcusable media presence from Doc Rivers. He's been doing that since the Ben Simmons fiasco. Hell, even below the Ben Simmons fiasco. Stan Van Gundy got more over the issue that he had with Dwight Howard over Orlando than what Doc Rivers had with Ben Simmons, James Harden, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin before he learned how to shoot, but when he was on Detroit. Like, bro, fuck Doc Rivers, my Anwar. Like, bro, this is just depressing. I feel like when he nutted in his wife, at least Austin Rivers took a bit more of the brain cells from him. But Jesus Christ. Oh no. Oh no. Paul Pierce is saying that I was probably the best NBA over Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Yeah. You don't like these hot takes by these shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't get me wrong. Paul Pierce is an all-time Celtic, one of the best wings you ever see score while being Luka Doncic's weight. But Jesus Christ, when they just come around here and just go off on a tangent over their shoulda, woulda, coulda, you think you're better than Kobe Bryant aesthetic, bro, you only beat him once in the finals, dude. Come on. Still won two more titles, and then you were a wizard. I'm kidding. I'm not going to bring up the time when Joe Johnson was outscoring him over in Brooklyn. Like, that's just depressing. I sentence you to Washington. Ah! Also, Dallas is coming up as like a big destination. After D'Angelo Russell, I think Ben Simmons also got tagged over for destination to go to Washington to Dallas, because I feel like Dallas is making the smarter moves. They get an actual decent starting point guard out of D'Angelo Russell that was putting up sub average numbers in his second to last season in LA. He can still be a good transition bucket, especially with a heavily defensive focused Mavericks team. And I feel like their team is still well structured, but Anthony Davis is probably going to take like a probable choice to be more of an offensive piece in the puzzle. And I don't know how that's going to hinder, even though he's still a great all around like 23 to 25%, 25-point scorer, while averaging at least what 2 blocks a game. So that's very concerning about how this Dallas team is going to fit after Kyrie's ACL injury, or how much pressure, if things go awry, is Kyrie going to put, because he's currently with 36 million, 39, 4-year deal. No, he's off a 3-year deal. He'll be an unrestricted free agent around 2028. The extension was very big with now a 32-year-old Anthony Davis. That's These are very boomer bust situations for a competitive team for the next, I give or take 3 seasons before 80's shin gives up on him, plus his tibula, ACL, MCL, MTV, TBS, PBS kids. And this is after his 55-game season where he was putting up 23% shooting from three. That's despicable, bro. After averaging 24 points per game, he was efficient around the mid range. Perimeter offense usually was his bread and butter. While attacking around the rim, he's kind of sharply declined after his NBA title win back in 2020 in the bubble. And we got terrible news over Ben McLemore. Ben, I do this audio for a lot often.
He's on fire!
You are totally on fire. You're going to federal fucking prison. If you guys don't remember Ben McLemore, He was a first round lottery pick back in the day. He last played for the Houston Rockets. Is now convicted and guilty for essaying a 21-year-old in a house party over in Lake Oswego and convicted with 3 charges of first degree rape. The jury found a Portland Trailblazers Ben McLemore guilty in morning of a rape and sexual abuse charge for a 21-year-old woman in the house party. He was 32, previously not pled guilty. That's your first mistake. For first degree unlawful sexual penetration, 2 counts of second degree sexual abuse, and the jury found him guilty of all counts except for the first count. Well, at least that was a bit much. Innocent until proven guilty is on the comment section of these, folks. There's no making it up. Wasn't he on the Lakers? That's your first question. That's your first question, bro. Don't go to Twitter for any senseful human beings over in Twitter, folks. Because Ben McLemore just pulled a Deshaun Watson, except he wasn't worth $250 million. Well, court is already adjourned till further notice. Unless he can pull a Diddy. He's not going to pull a Diddy, folks. That you don't have the music industry in the balls. You were going to prison. You were heading to prison. Yikes. And to a softer note, Miami Heat are reportedly seeking a first-round pick, Dalton Connect and Rui Hachimura for Andrew Wiggins. Now, Andrew Wiggins has been in the talks, as well as Cam Whitmore, but it was already toned down after Dorian Finney-Smith left over on free agency. That was a questionable waste of a great 3-and-D player out of Dorian Finney-Smith. Why let him walk? And you were trying to get the buy, let LeBron get that opt-in? Is crazy work. And now you can't even buy out his contract. Because who else you're going to pair Luka Doncic with? That's a lot of leverage lost for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's very shoddy front office work after stumbling yourself off. You stumbled yourself to Luka Doncic. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Please. No copyright infringement, please. I'm not getting paid by those guys. Let's just keep it a whole stack. There's no way in hell Nico Harrison did a strategic choice here if it wasn't for the draft being rigged over in the first place. That you guys know that. Even the casuals know that. The same thing happened with Kyrie Irving. Andrew Wiggins. Yes, Andrew Wiggins was a Cavalier. And I think Dion Waiters as well was a Cavalier. Over the time when LeBron James was over on the Miami Heat and the Cavaliers were just trying year after year to just tank for first-round overall picks over the reparations of LeBron James leaving that franchise, like the whole economy. The whole economy over LeBron James is crazy to me. And now that the Cavaliers are frauds. They finally built a good team. Like when Colin Sexton was as well thinking of playing with LeBron James, and then he goes off to LA the time Colin Sexton gets drafted. And then they get a better draft pick off Darius Garland the next season. I think it was the season after. Because that was the time Larry Markkinen came in as a Cavalier. Womp, womp, womp. Like this image. Adam Silver is supposed to be invincible, while James Dolan, One of the front office execs, I think he's also part owner of the New York Knicks, telling them why, how are we supposed to afford Josh Hart's max deal? Knicks fans will riot. Yeah, so that's been a very quiet off season so far in the start of the week. Because of course it's April, so we're probably going to get timely debates. LeBron James, I doubt that there'll be a trade talks for him for the next week or two. Under short notice, talk about the Sixers real quick because you guys are still a shit team. I heard over from a Philadelphia Sixers channel that cover the Sixers over the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks faltering out of contention that they think they have the window to themselves. You guys got rid of a bunch of depth. Like your best player of the season was fucking Quentin Grimes, for God's sakes. Tyrese Maxey is probably one of the best all NBA guards when healthy. And Joel Embiid has faltered since he got that max contract. He hasn't played good basketball since he won that damn MVP he wanted so badly. And Paul George is going to be making $56 million at the end of his deal for more podcasts than games played. And yet you're upset that Trendon Watford's here. Justin Edwards. And some Sixers fans have the gall to call VJ Edgecombe the next Anthony Edwards. He's a good inside scorer, and I'm sure he has a good perimeter offense. Hopefully he does well around his rookie season. For God's sakes, Philly fans, just know when to take a break. They at least want you to cough it up before you swallow it up again. Just saying. And I have to deal with Eagles fans, folks. Sixers fans are more delusional than Eagles fans. At least Eagles fans smelled success over this time period. Spongy has literally been born and has developed puberty off 2 Super Bowl wins. I wish I had that life. Because you guys still feel like you deserve to give Eric Gordon $2 million to just be the head coach like he Garrett Temple. Because I don't know what type of strategy Nick Nurse is doing when you still have Andre Drummond being your backup center. And I swear this is like his 3rd time on the Sixers. He's been a perennial journeyman after being an All-NBA center of just rebounding over points for his time in Detroit. And yet you guys still feel like you're competing with the Magic. That's really put up probably one of the best teams on paper after sometimes first round exits in the last 2 seasons. Developing all NBA players like Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Doing a great trade. They got good perimeter defending pieces as well as great secondary offensive options like Jalen Suggs. Defensive impacts like Wendell Carter Jr. and Jonathan Isaac. Gogo Pitatse from late round irrelevancy to now a top rim protector in the league. And now you got Desmond Bane? That's insane. One of the best key offensive pieces that can put up 25 a night. And one of the most efficient 3-point shooters in the league. After some on and off seasons with the Memphis Grizzlies, and probably the most consistent, he'll be making $36 million up to $44 million for the next 5 seasons while in the middle of his prime. That's a good deal. That's a damn great deal. With 39% shooting over his 68 starts. That's the second the most starts he had since his sophomore season. While making a conference finals, he has playoff experience. With an all NBA forward that keeps getting better, like Paulo Banchero. And teams are sleeping on them because they're not really the majority market team, and there's not much credentials to be have currently on Orlando because of their mediocrity in the league over the past decade. After feeling like they had Aaron Gordon that won with the Nuggets, Victor Oladipo didn't pan out to be a key offensive piece, and he got traded around to different contending teams around the conference. Tobias Harris, I didn't really do much. Evan Fournier when he was with Nikola Vucevic, and now it seems like they're doing finally well, finding a key offensive piece with a head coach that actually knows what he's doing. Those are the teams that we should be celebrating currently in the NBA. And now we have certain NBA teams like the Toronto Raptors that's shown to be a win now destination with Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl that got an $100 million deal. Don't get me wrong, outstanding player when available, and he's 30 years old. Getting that max deal money like that for $20 million each. God knows what they're gonna pull over after overpaying Scotty Barnes. I wouldn't say overpay. He's trying to be an all-star forward when healthy. But what's gonna be like a detrimental piece that you think Toronto needs to give up? Because people were saying Chris Boucher should leave. Grady Dick has shown upside to be a good perimeter offensive piece and can pull over game winners. Toronto's up there. Ajbaji is shown upside but can be a trade asset. RJ Barrett can probably pull over to be traded, or Emmanuel Quickly. I'd pull for Emmanuel Quickly. I feel like he's making too much money, and he is. There's already too many key offensive pieces. They need a perennial floor general or somebody to just impact all around the offense. And Grady Dick can get minutes. You can just squeeze him at the one. So that I really feel like Toronto could make some noise to be that one team that can snag out of the threshold of always being a play-in team. We've seen upside coming from New York after making the conference finals. Detroit, I feel like people got to stop sleeping on Detroit. They pushed the Knicks to a deep playoff series. Cade Cunningham shown himself to be an outstanding guard over this entire series. They traded for Duncan Robinson, one of the best spot-up wings, for a reasonable price with NBA Finals experience. Karis LeVert, Paul Reed to be a good secondary five for Jalen Duren. That's going to get paid. Sir Thompson has shown the best upside out of most of the rookies over the class. Probably a bit better than his brother. Tobias Harris to be that veteran offensive piece to come off as a good starter, with Cade Cunningham showing to be the next top guard in the league for the next. How old is he? Like 23? 9 years tops, 8 years tops. They're getting somewhere. BJ Bickerstaff, one of the more vocal coaches. I'm sure people that play against him think he's a whiner. He's shown to be vocal over on the media over poor officiating. I will agree that was a foul. As a Knicks fan, type shit. But Bickerstaff, after he kind of he crashed and burned over in two back-to-back second-round exits with the Cavaliers. Detroit, he pushed a long series against the Knicks. Has made almost everybody improve. They were missing out on a lot of depth because of injuries, with Jaden Ivey being out, Isaiah Stewart being that anchor on the defensive end, Marcus Sasser being a good sixth man. And now it just feels like they're doing so great right now. If it wasn't for Malik Beasley having the goddamn parlay, now he's under investigations. That's depressing. If you guys don't know what's going on with Malik Beasley, he's under investigation. I think he's getting charged over $30,000. because of his parlays, because of some loan. Is it like loan sharks? Because it's like a sports loaning uh, company that's been trying to stretch him out for money, and he's owing like millions, not only to the betting he's been doing affecting him, but it's also his personal life because he owes also the child support. I think also to the CBA. Somehow his barber and his chef. He Malik Beasley is just a crash out away to being Antonio Brown, but no, he's just a greedy motherfucker with purpose. And I thought that guy from the Toronto Raptors got it worse. Bro, I don't know about that, buddy. Hops boxes. This. Yo, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Hold on. Nah, no. I'd politely decline this guy. How to politely decline this guy. I'm trying to type in Malik Beasley, folks. Give me a second. Because I did not expect Beasley to get himself into trouble like this. Because now he's an unrestricted free agent. Oh, yeah. I typed it with an A with an I. Malik Beasley reportedly owed 500 Roblox debt for his nephew. Is crazy. These jokes gotta stop. And there's too much evidence that Malik Beasley is doing this. Like when he purposely got his shot blocked over his shot attempt, hitting that parlay. I thought because he was former teammates with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and now it's like ruin my shot attempt, bro. I need that hit. I need at least 10 to hit, clear my parlay. Oh, I thought you were upset because I traded you. No, I wanted to leave Milwaukee. Yeah, this is just hilarious. Now, what the hell? Yeah, Malik Beasley is going to be caught by the mafia. 20K from Malik Beasley. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. When Halliburton caught him with that fake pick and roll, Luis Ortiz and Malik Beasley are now sports betting scandals are still to come. Jesus Christ, folks, this is getting sad. This is getting depressing for Malik Beasley, folks. Owing 500 Robux to your nephew is sad as hell, bro. Yeah, I think I have a mod to block this guy. Because now I'm getting spammed by a bot here. Yeah, let's. Sorry, sir. I'm not taking that BS. So I just started this channel. I mean, the YouTube channel, yes. I've been in on it for like a minute. YouTube channel, I've been on it for a minute, but Kick, Owen to try other assets of the streaming services around the platform to spread out the channel. Malik Beasley was averaging 16.3 per game, 43% shooting. Exceptional for like a $10 million deal. And he's been a pseudo journeyman in the league. Now he's going to be 60,000 lawsuit on a dentist, bro. Now you owe 10,000 to a goddamn dentist for no enhancements on the lineup is crazy work. That's depressing. What are we doing here, Malik Beasley? Former Detroit Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And it won't let me read anyway. All right. All right. Thank you for a primary source right here because I know about the thousands of dollars he owes over to personal endeavors like loan sharks, more betting, alimony, his barber somehow. Tens of thousands on a barber is crazy, not for any enhancements. And probably babysitters. He still owes his friends 10K for that last bet on the Super Bowl. On vacation, you're thugging and bugging. You have 650,000 on bets. What are you overspending on? For God's sakes, Malik Beasley. Detroit Pistons shooting guard Malik Beasley was ranked as, oh my goodness, it won't stop. It won't stop. Give me a second, because this is just getting depressing. I just want to read an article, and because of its ad source, even though I'm not sharing it, allegations of gambling related to NBA games prompt bets during the 2023-24 season when a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, Beasley and the Pistons talked a new deal worth 3 years, $42 million, according to ESPN. But there was talks, of course. Cease investigation came to light, and Detroit reportedly agreed on 3 years, $48 million, and a deal with Duncan. Okay, so that goes over the offseason. What does that correlate have to do? ESPN discovered a lawsuit filed on April by Beasley's former marketing agency. Oh yeah, I think his agent is also suing him. His on sports management group. The suit seeks 2.5 million in damages of legal fees. Claims Beasley had financial issues as he could not pay back $650,000 in advance this year. Jesus Christ. Substantial investments of time, effort, resources in players and known issues, including especially financial issues. Beasley was taken as a client back in 2023, but his deal terminated in less than 2 years. These, oh God, vague promises. Yeah, just dumb business deal by Malik Beasley. That seems to be the case here. Malik Beasley dipped himself into poor financial waters. That's why they be letting their parents be their agents. But I think also that'd be a double-edged sword, a heavily double-edged sword. But I think this also sprouts for conversation. Sorry, I've got too many fucking tabs up. In regards to what sparked the investigation, ESPN reported a prominent sports book detected unusual betting activity. Beasley props in the beginning in early 2024, January 31st, 2024 matchup between the Bucks and the Portland Trailblazers. Odds Beasley recording less than 2.5 rebounds moved significantly before the game, going around 100 plus 120 to minus 250. After the under experienced a high amount of action, Beasley recorded 6 rebounds, but Hazan's lawsuit just one part of financial troubles. There's like more, bro. Nearly $5.8 million settlements against Beasley in Maryland, according to the court documents. Off loaning. Yeah, and this is where the fishy sports loaning settlement went awry. Where in August 2024, Beasley signed a deal with a Florida firm that provides bridges to athletes and loans to athletes. Beasley pledges the current future of the NBA contract as collateral. He's an idiot. Malik Beasley's an idiot. What collateral debts do you have to put you 3 million in the hole when you get a minimum of at least 10 million, 2 million? You are an idiot, Malik Beasley. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, folks. I'm sorry. Like, this is. Am I just stupid? What? The outlet noted the issue between Beasley and multiple businesses, including Milwaukee-based barber, that won a $26,000 judgment against the shooting guard, and Minnesota's dentist won 34 million. Yeah, he played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Default judgment against Malik Beasley that same month. Malik Beasley and his landlord, nigga's not even paying rent, folks. In March, was sued in Detroit 36th District Court for failing to pay $14,000 in rent at a high-rise apartment building where he was a tenant, and the lawsuit was dismissed before Stott sued him against failing to pay $7,000 in rent. Me, pers- Me personally, nigga, just find a local hotel, bro. Go. Why not in the team hotel? I know NBA players have their own financial settlements if you're making bread like that, but I'm sure there's affordable options if you're just going to just work, hoop, and you can just vacate around the premises without being bothered. Like Malik Beasley making a vet minimum, $7,000 is still like that's still a lot of bread to be pushing off for the high life. I don't want to know his catering prices. I don't. I don't want to know his catering prices. Beasley played for the Pistons, 1 year, 6 million contract last season after 2.7 million. 1 year in Milwaukee. Beasley made 59 million over the course of his 9 year career, and you blew through that like water. Now I understand. I understand one thing here because I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna cut this off because one thing's for sure. Malik Beasley is an he's a nigga. He has a nigga mindset financially. He's an idiot. He is a grown ass man, and he doesn't know that there's people like that in his 9 year NBA career that are going to treat him like an idiot. Pushing 7K on a fucking high rise, thinking you know you couldn't afford that. Then you can't. Then you get leverage 26,000 on a barber with no enhancement. Malik Beasley, I've seen your haircut before. You're like 31 and you got a haircut like you 22. And dentistry. I know veneers be costing a lot, my nigga, but this is just excessive, man. Even IG models are more financially responsible. And all they gotta do is just show their poom poom every week, bro. This is just depressing. Yikes! Yikes! There's a lot that goes over a lot of NBA fans' heads when it comes over when they're making like give or take 50K a week, 30 like around 10, 15,000 a week. That shit goes quick in the NBA because you forget that these NBA players get drafted when they're a college student because the NBA doesn't draft adults. They draft man children with the talent, blessed with athletic gifts most of the time. And you get people like Malik Beasley. That's a heavy example. He's a decent, subpar, spot up veteran shooter, and he spends money like Manziel back when he was in A&M. And he's not even a nepo baby. I mean, Manziel is a nepo baby. I think his father was like an oil tycoon. But at least he was a good enough college quarterback. Beasley has enough wisdom and tenure to think of, nigga, why are you pulling athlete loan sharks when you have to spend money on travel, healthcare, expenses? You forgot that you're paying income tax wherever you go in the NBA, and that includes the settlements over when you were in LA. Probably secondary housing, the CPA, training. You have to pay off your agent, your lawyer, management. I understand it gets extensive over your NBA career, but you don't hear any other NBA player going for that. You don't hear fucking Steph Curry that has a very long career in the NBA talk about that. Blake Griffin talk about that. Blake Beasley over this entire article is just an idiot. 50 million a year, 59 million, and say over the course of income tax, property tax, and what you're making over on sponsorships, because I know he had a shoe deal with a Chinese brand while getting extensions over at least over a bare vet minimum, and you spending that on fucking high rises, vacations, veneers, and fucking around and finding out that you're gonna end up like Delonte West, homeless. And that nigga used to play with LeBron James. I hope he bounced back from this. I hope. I'm not wishing he just becomes homeless, getting financial debt, or worse, Antonio Brown. But scandalous sports betting, pushing over the under, squandering teams' opportunities for individualistic goals that don't even provide for your contractual bonuses that you get for a certain production value. That's understandable. I get it. But this squanders any hint of reputation that you're going to pull over if the league any team doesn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. And this is what like heavily onto the monetization of sports betting. We haven't even seen since back in the day. And that probably includes Michael Jordan. Knowing a controversy with his father. We saw this over with that Toronto Raptors bench player. I think was his name, not Javante Green. He was a forward. But how monetizable it is. Now a lot of teams want to go to Vegas and shit because of the monetization of sports betting to get over to the casual fan, to get over that dopamine fix of getting 20 to pull it to a 30, to 3,000. like it gets very corrupted when it comes over to the mindset of even the athletes, knowing instead of hooping to win, to earn like 2.5 million to 12 million the next year, should just hoop. I want to pull that quick 30K. Oh, and then I get pulled on a rug. Hell, you can even say that for how the Yankees won 27 World Series. I won't deny that for the moment, even though we were in the bigger sports market. But knowing like this will probably not be the last player we see before the NBA pulls over into a rug, and you won't see DraftKings monetizing over in the NBA. This will get worse. Let me go over scandals because I forgot that athlete's name. Oh yeah, Jonte Porter that went the under on his. I think he went the under on his 3-point percentages, where he was just chucking up shots around transition and fucking it up for his team. And we haven't. And I don't think we've seen this much corruption in game since Tim Donaghy. Oh yeah, Terry. Oh yeah, Terry. Terry Rozier was also known for this. Terry Rozier was also known for this as well. He was already like averaging 20 on his time with the Charlotte Hornets. That already felt like he was just jumping the gun on performances. And then he just started pulling the under when he got traded to the Miami Heat. And that was back in just a few seasons ago. That was shown to be very, very exciting trade for an actual guard that can produce, that can take the pressure off Jimmy Butler. And as the Terry Rozier investigations, January 2025, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was investigated by the NBA for federal authorities for suspicions of betting activity surrounding the performance around March 2023 in a game he was in the Charlotte Hornets. Investigating found no rule violations, but the federal investigation is still ongoing. Like, these are very concerning takes. And most of these players are just in barely half a decade. Especially with Jonte Porter. And Terry Rozier's averaging at least, he's going to exceed 100 million. He got double Scottie Pippen's earnings over his NBA career, and this motherfucker is still squandering it. And this happens in a plethora of sports. You even seen it in Italian soccer. The whole controversy with Juventus, if you guys don't know who that team is, it's an Italian team that's got the record of most Italian league titles in the Serie A. And it got counted over sports washing and sports betting around the league until it got relegated. You get relegated to the lower division in the league at the time. So Juventus had to battle their way back over with less of their top players that they've succeeded with. Right after their nation team won the World Cup. That's already insane. Like, corruption happens in sports more times than you think. And it's more of an inside job, and it even looks worse when the players are in on it. And just trying to count over for a quick buck than earning it. Tell me how you guys feel down below, bro, because this is just depressing, man. This is just depressing. I'm going to call it a night here. Right now, I'm just going to chill. I don't know who this Noah St. Johnson Johnson 6 is. He nigga puts an underscore on his name, and he gets over this extensive list. Yeah, I'm you to gain 1,000, at least $60 per stream. Enable sub button add on disc on your Discord. That's the same as your account. Come on, man. You make it too obvious at this point, bro. That's it for me over in the DST show. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'm gonna probably change my kick name in just a moment.